Wengine tunawafupi hivyo. Mkoaje? Nashinda poa. Naweza wapata lights, nataka kuona watu kidogo tu. Wanasema haiwezi, unaweza toka upatiwe 150 yako uende home. Nice, you guys look awesome. It's good to see you. Light hapa ni mingi wa. Hata sioni sasa zaidi. Anyway, my name is Amani Baya. I'm a drummer, and above all, I love Jesus very much. Yeah. And it is such an honor and a pleasure to be here today. Kushare tu kidogo, kujengana. Mahali tumetoka ni mbali na mahali tunaenda ni mbali zaidi. So it is only nice that tuendelee kujengana, right? Matthew amesema a lot of things that are very important. I hope you have paid attention. I hope you've written your notes. And above all, I hope that you will get the time to work on that. Okay? Thank you so much, Deno, for inviting us. It is such a pleasure to be here, right? So mine will be very short. And I'll just talk about one thing. And it's called skill, right? So the definition from the dictionary, this is what it says. Skill, the ability to do something well. It is as simple as that. The ability to do something well. Now, so we're here talking about music, talking about drums and stuff like that. And as Matthew amesema, utanid kitu inaitwa skill. Na akasema, the difference, the only reason that someone else would be chosen over you is, one of the main reasons is skill. Right? Because amesema, as a drummer, ukiitwa, the first thing umeitiwa ni kucheza drums, not to do anything else. So, if your skill level iko juu kushinda ya mtu mwingine, of course, you're going to get that opportunity. Right? But then, skill comes with a lot of work, with a lot of patience. And as a drummer, I've played drums for quite a while, and I will say that skill is like a collective. It's like a sum of collective of everything that you know, everything that you've learned, everything that you've listened to, the people you've interacted with, all those things, they build up your skill. So, for example, if you need to know how to play 7, watu wengi wameniuliza hiyo swali. And so many other people always ask questions, even in the drama circle. And people always feel like I don't want to share or anything, because my response is, before ulize swali, have you done your research? Have you done your part? Because it is very easy to ask, but the hard bit or the tough bit is to do your homework, which so many people don't like to do. So utasema, hey, they know napiga gig zote, au sijui ni fulani anapiga gig zote. But the thing is, if you don't do your due diligence, trust me, tutabaki hapo kwa kuuliza. And I always say, it is easier to do your research, because then you are able to understand whatever you are researching on better and for yourself. Yeah? So before ulize, before pige simu mtu yote, Because most of the times, some of these answers, we have them at the back of our minds. It's just that we are afraid or scared to answer it ourselves. So inakuwa easier kuuliza, right? But the most important thing is to find out that information for yourself. Yeah, so get some time and do some research. Research can be on anything. He's mentioned something called chops. Watu wanapenda chops sana. And hizi chops sio mbaya, ni poa. As Matthew amesema, where we're going, you're gonna need to know chops. And basically chops is just a combination of different basics, different building blocks. Building blocks, ndio hizo simple things like paradiddles, single strokes, double strokes. All those things build up chops. Yeah? And si lazima ujue chops 100. Na si lazima ujue chops 10. Unaweza kuwa unajua chops 3, and every time you work on those 3 of them, you get to be creative. I think for me, I know maybe 2 or 3, but what happened is each time I played, I tried to be creative on not playing that particular chop the same way. And if I wanted to grow that bag of chops, I try to create from those different chops, pick a part, pick a small section, and combine them. You form a different chop, a new chop. So basically, it is for you to work on those chops. One of the things I think you guys are privileged right now is internet, and information is there. I always share this information and people think it's a joke. When I started learning chops, ningeenda cyber tao. Najua sijui ngapi wanakumbuka cyber. Mliingia cyber ku browse. Hapa watu wengi. Ani wajuzi. Hawa ni wajuzi. Umeona smartphone, so you can get all that information there. So tukiingia cyber walikuwa na charge, I think, is it 10 bob per minute? Ilikuwa? Ati ilikuwa how much? Kumbe unajua hizi vitu. So unaingia pale, so nimetoka home na maybe 100 bob. So 100 bob, kuna fare yangu kuingia tao na kutoka. Hiyo ingine ni ya kuingia cyber. Right? Kama nimefanya shughuli nimemaliza, lazima niingie cyber. Niangalie, kuna jamaa mmoja, I can't really remember his name, but alikuwa anafanya kitu kwa YouTube inaitwa building blocks to gospel chops. And then niliingia pale, nilanka kitu kamoja. So as I'm learning, pia ni ngumu because sasa anafanya vitu mingi sana na knowledge yangu pia ni kidogo at that time. So dakika zinaisha, lakini umeshika probably only the beginning part of that chop. So unaenda mtaa, karibu kuna cyber, the next day unaingia tena. So na learn chop moja for like a month. Sasa ndo naanza kushikanisha. And I break down, yes, but then because of the financial status at that time, story ya cyber na nini, inabidi una learn one chop pole pole. Now you have your phones, internet iko available. Hata kama hauna simu ya internet, unaweza omba ya msee uingie kwa mtandao uangalie. So please take your time and do some research. The other thing I want to talk about is a practice. Practice is one of those things that I think so many people don't know how to approach a practice session, like personal practice. So many people don't know how to approach it because you don't know what you want to achieve. So number one, you need to know what you want to achieve. before you get into any practice session. There are people who want to achieve speed. There are people who want to achieve, what is it called? I'm forgetting the name. You know how you can play so many things on different parts of your body and you're still on time. You get? So many people want to achieve that, but people don't know what they want to achieve. So hawajui nini wanataka kuplay. So mtu anaingia tizi, anasema hey, leo nimepiga tizi maze 2 hours, nasikia fiti. But umesikia fiti, but you have not achieved anything because play around with the kit, umejibamba, play along to music. But you need to have a purpose and you need to have a plan before you go to the practice session. Yeah? And this is aside from band practice, worship team practice, and all these other practice sessions. So ukienda tizi ya worship team, that's not your place to do your personal practice. Because I'm sure most of us will get a tizi and then before a session yanza already ushapiga kelele, kuna ka silence kidogo, you know, just because you didn't take your time to do your personal practice. So unaingilia space ya wenyewe, you want to do your stuff. That's not your place to do that. That particular session is for you to actualize what you have practiced. Yeah? So you need to be diligent enough to create your own time to do your personal practice. And then, ukishafika in any other practice session, you try and actualize. Now, actualizing or playing whatever you have learned is not also, you should not also try and do so much that the music is spoiled. Ama watu wanashindwa sasa nini nafanya. Hii mziki tumetumiwa, wasema wafanya tizi, aswa wamesikiza. And then you also want to do like kuongeza mavitu na nini. That's not the place to do that. And it needs something called discipline, what Matthew talked about. Yeah? So ukishafika kwenye hiyo tizi or that practice session, that's when now your discipline comes in. You know what to play, you know what to do, you know how to hold the team together. Yeah? The other thing I want to talk about is listening. All these things build your skill. Listening, personally, it does like 80% of my work because I'm able to pick out every detail I'll need. And then when I sit down on the session, then I'm able to play what I need and try and be creative to add on to that. So I don't know how you guys do it, but listening has to be one of the most important things that you have in your hands. Listening. As Matthew said, lazima uko na time ya kusikiza different kinds of music, different genres. I love reggae. Reggae is one of those genres of music that I love very much. And Matthew will tell you, hakuna msanii yote wa reggae and I come from out there in the world that I'll miss their concert. And you know why? It's not just that I enjoy listening to reggae, but I like to learn. And I also go to their concerts as well, just to understand how exactly to do this thing, how exactly to play reggae music. And I mean this idea because even when I try and create arrangements in any band or any artist that I work with, I have that knowledge. Na imetoka wapi? Only kwa kusikiza. Most of it actually ni kwa kusikiza. Amesema how advantageous it is for people to know how to play different instruments. It is very, very important. And that thing I mentioned, arrangements, Mostly, when you're a drummer, you can only just sit there and skiza, cheza hivi. Bass player anakuambia fanya hivi. Keyboard player anakuambia fanya hivi. But it is also nice when you can take part in the building process, when you can throw in an idea. Waambia wasta wa horns, mnaweza cheza hivi. Mse wa keys, unaweza fanya hivi. Bass player anacheza hii groove, so unaweza change your groove yako ya bass isound hivi. All that cannot come without listening. Listening helps you collect all these different ideas, all different things in music that you can apply and be creative with. Yeah? Now, there's this one thing that I've learned throughout in playing music with different artists, different musicians, different groups, and that is to fit in their music. That's one thing that so many people struggle with. So unajua kucheza chops, unajua kucheza grooves zako fiti, and then unaenda kwa msee wa reggae, unataka kupiga chops throughout. Unaenda kwa msee wa genge, pia unataka kupiga chops. Unaenda kwa the mushrooms, band ya kina Mathayo, pia unataka kupiga chops. The one thing that will set you aside is to be able to fit in their music. Remember, when you any situation, you have been called to play the drums, yeah? But also, you have been called to just serve the music what it needs. Yeah? So you need to be able to fit in that music. You give the artist or the band what they need, not what you need. I know that's hard, but it is as simple as it is. You need to be able to serve the music, give the artist or the band what they need and not what you need. That should be my last point, because it is the one thing that so many people struggle with. So many people struggle with that. Just simply because you can play drums doesn't mean you should be able to. Watu wengi wanaweza ita hata kimbele mbele. Mshafika kwa band, msanii amekuita, lakini si muziki tunaweza fanya. Hii songs tunaweza fanya. Tunaweza ongeza. Before you get to that point, make sure you serve the music. Make sure you give the artist what they need. Make sure you give the band what they need and not what you need. Any questions? Nimemaliza. Any questions? 5 questions? 3 questions?
You know, opportunity comes once in a lifetime, so use it well. So my question to you is, I have one question, and I know also some drummers, they get to have a challenge with it, is keeping time. One drummer, a friend of mine, sijui kama alikuja, alikuwa ananiambia every time, maybe when I'm practicing with especially with the loop tracks, it's not an easy thing, because you know it's you and the track. So because like for live, there are those adjustments. You know, the rest of the band will follow you, but how can I be able to have that good solid time and a nice sound? How do you get to achieve that? Because when I see in terms of timekeeping, precision, I've been watching you for many years, and I'm like, how are you able to achieve this? Maybe you can tell us that.
All right. So starting with the click track or the metronome. If you play So let me start it like this. One of the most important things is keeping tempo or keeping time when playing. And you can only achieve that if you can take time and practice with a metronome. Leave alone the tracks and the half-life, the metronome. Now, when you play along or you play with a metronome and you can hear it, you are either slightly faster or slower. Let me say that again. If you play with a metronome or a click track and you can hear it, so you are either a little faster or a little slower. The metronome needs to be embedded completely in your playing, that it is like part of whatever you're doing. Like you cannot really hear it. So it's there, but you cannot tell it's there when you're playing. Then you know you are in time. If you can hear it kombali, you are either a little faster or a little slower. Now, the precision comes with playing continuously, playing every time with that particular metronome, whatever tempo it is. Then that helps you to build, that helps you to be very, very precise, especially with time. Now, when the tracks are introduced, I love tracks myself. I love the half-lives a lot, simply because there's so much more other than a particular sound. For those who know the metronome or the click track, most of the times it's like a do 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 do, or when you know like a. No, I hate that sound because then it distracts me. But when the half-lives are introduced, the loops are introduced, then I have so much fun playing, because then there's so much more other than just an annoying sound. Now, when you get to a point where you enjoy playing with the click tracks, with the loops and the half-lives, then you know your time is good, because it will be such a bad thing that msanii amekuita and then upon half-lives zake, and then you cannot keep tempo. So you need to be able to build that comfort by using a click track or a metronome each time you go for practice. That is well answered? Another question? Before we get out of here? Hapa wana maswali, tuko fiti.
For me, I'd just like to ask, if you were taken 20 years back, what is it that you would do different? Or what is it that you could advise your younger self?
That's a hard one. First, have I played 20 years? Maybe. But I tell myself to enjoy the process. That's the one thing our young generation don't know how to do. To enjoy the process, and enjoying the process is so many things. Number one, people don't like to have personal practice anymore today. Everyone is busy doing something else apart from making time to do their personal practice. And it's one of the most important things. So I tell myself, kijana, piga practice, fanya practice, itakusaidia. Ita help kujenga your vocabulary, your muscle memory. These things will help you. I'd also tell myself, things that I did that so many people don't do anymore. Go for jam sessions. Go for jam sessions. Get to interact with fellow musicians. Get to learn different styles of playing, not just what you know. You know how nowadays we ask people to come for jam sessions and people don't show up. I don't know how you guys do it here, but in Nairobi it's hard. People don't show up for jam sessions. Or it's just the same faces. And then guess what? These same guys will be like, ah, wait, so nirushie gig. Takurushiaje gig na sikujui, man. Sijai kusikia ukiplay, so nakurushiaje gig. Hey bro, mi pia ni drama, I'm coming up. Na wamejaa hapa, coming up dramas, up and coming dramas. Sijui mtaplay gig lini. Because 5 years down the line, tunakwambia, mimi ni upcoming. Toka hapo. Go practice. Go for jam sessions. These things will help you. Ask questions. Watu hapa mshiba kuuliza swali. Unangoja kwa WhatsApp unitumie hello. Alafu uende missing. Alafu unangoja niseme hello. So this is what I do. Nikipata hello, I just delete the text. You know what? Introduce yourself. That's one of the things people don't know how to do. Like, mtu anatumia tu hello. Sawa, kuna swali, lakini hello inamaanisha. That's not, conversations don't start like that. Like, sasa nikienda kwa mtu mwenye sijui hapa, siwezi mwambia, niaje? Fiti. And then, sijamwambia jina, sijamwambia natoka wapi, sijamwambia nahitaji nini, lakini nimemwambia niaje? Fiti sana. So mean that delete your text. And then ngoja kama your text itakaa tena. So go out for these jam sessions. Hang out with fellow musicians as much as possible. Imagine there's so much knowledge with these people here. But if you don't hang out with them, if you don't jam with them, you will never know these things. You know, there's what you know, and then there's what someone else knows. And sometimes they know the same thing, but they know it in a different way. It doesn't hurt to ask, yeah? So those are some of the things that I'd tell my younger self. Yeah? One last question? Maybe? I'm to say hello, alafu aketi. One last question? So, I'm done. Thank you guys for having me. God bless. See you next time.
Thank you so much for your wise words. But before we finish up this session, before we wrap it up, ningependa kidogo to have some few conversations. Mathayo, uko wapi? Amen.
Mathayo kwa intercession. Mathayo anaogopa. Sijui utamsaidia aje.
Poleni sana, nilikuwa naombea Amani asiropokwe. Kuna announcement tulikuwa nataka kumake. Kuna sijui kama Amani amenini. Mimi na Amani ni Amani wewe ni mfupi. Mimi na Amani ni directors kwa organization moja inaitwa Drum Jam. Na si ufanya competition ya bands na drummers. So this year tunafanya ya drummers na naisema hapa ndio Amani asiende kuniruka kwa meeting. Ndio nisiweza change mind. Tunawapatia slot za drama wawili. So nyinyi mtajua ni nani na nani. Mtajipanga. Msilete ule mdeadly sana ndio hiyo do isitoke Nairobi kuje huko.